information that the city has, and somebody from the city government, from whoever has access to that information,
Right.
apparently leaked that information to his blog, or to him, for the blog page. It went up, and it suggested exactly what you're suggesting right now.
Right.
That maybe some money was paid.
All right. Well, I mean, let's go back.
I can assure you that no money was paid to me for any vote that I took, and nor would I ever have allowed it. And I didn't even know what PJ's deed restriction, the amount was going to be that he would be paid from Mike Lundy, until McCluskey had the court with Mary Ellen Blevins. We had to defend that, and it came out in that court, in the transcripts, that it was $850,000. That's when I first found out. Now, yes, PJ and I had talked multiple times. I didn't know it was 37% of the time, but I never asked him how much he was going to get for his deed restriction, and I would not have, and he never told me. And it wouldn't have been something he would have discussed with me, because it was between him and Lundy.
All right, well,
and that's how it was.
Yeah, and by the way, let's just add to that there was another story that happened about a year or so later. Was one of the last stories that were actually attached, or had anything to do with Golfgate, in that attorney Michael Young out of Lewis County inadvertently sent the final deed, or I guess you could say the final result to the sale, $3.4 million, and as opposed to what you said at 37% at $850,000, it appeared based on that document that no lawyer would recreate otherwise, other than if it was right or if it was true or not, actually indicated or illustrated that PJ was going to be making half of that into $3.4 million. Do you contest that?
Shown, and the 37% I was talking about is a number of phone calls.
Oh, sorry.
37% of the phone calls that I had with Samael.
Gotcha.
All right. What the unsigned document showed, all right, I didn't even touch the thing. It was shown to me in the back room by Smith, okay? And look what we've got. I said, well, what do we have? Now, he included my comments about that document in part of the evidence.
Right.
And what I was basically suggesting is that it's not a signed document, okay? The document that was shown at the court, in McCluskey's court, in that case, showed $850,000 was what he received.
Right.
Okay. Smith was trying to make a case that no, that wasn't true. What was said in McCluskey's court wasn't true. That actually PJ had gotten this other amount that was shown on this unsigned document.
Right.
So that unsigned document was not supposed to have left Bob Sly's hands.
Right.
When it was inadvertently sent to Bob Sly by Mike Young, Bob Sly did the right thing. He called up Mike Young and he said, hey, I got this document. I don't think we're supposed to have that. He goes, no, that wasn't supposed to be sent. He didn't say why. He didn't say what it was for.
Of course.
He just said, no, you're not supposed to. And Bob agreed to keep it, not to, because it was irrelevant. And Bob basically did the right thing at that time. Then all of a sudden entered Todd Ballard. Ballard somehow got that document from Bob Sly, all right? And then somehow Todd Ballard gave it to Jeff Smith, and Jeff Smith went out and accused PJ of actually not getting the $850,000.
Where in fact it was double that.
Court. But he stated, and I listened to your show.
Right.
I know exactly what he said. He said, oh, look, folks, no, he really got $1.7 million instead of the $850,000. And I, to this day, can't understand why PJ wouldn't sue his ass, because he went out with an unsigned document stating that for a fact, and it wasn't a fact as far as I know.
Wow. I mean, I don't know. There's a good reason why attorney Mike Young said that was inadvertently sent, and he has all the reasons for it.
It was inadvertently sent, and it wasn't really relevant. And I didn't.
It sounds relevant. All right. Let me ask. Okay, so
say something.
Yeah.
If I might.
Go ahead.
If Mike Lundy had decided that he wanted to give PJ $2 million of the 3.4. I wasn't negotiating with PJ. I was negotiating with Lundy, and the best price we could come up with was $3.4 million.
All right, well, let's stay with
PJ with his business.
All right, but Cliff, let me stick with the $3.4 million, because as you know, and Lisa knows this too. It was right out of the gate. You guys just, got it. Well, Lisa was there. She was getting into her second term, essentially, whatever the deal was. She was an established incumbent at City Council. You were the newcomer, as was Pat Hickey. And you came out with a lot of piss and vinegar with this whole deal that we got to get this done. We got to get it done by the end of the year. You had 2 assessments. They were way overpriced over the market value of the 9 holes. Not 18 holes, but 9 holes. And all of a sudden, we were looking at 3.4. It was a lot of money, $3.4 million. The only reason why I bring that up, Cliff, Cliff, and how you wanted to expedite the whole process. And then, of course, you negated anyone from the privilege of the floor that night. That's when former councilperson Cody Harbach.
Okay, sorry, but
Yeah, but no. Listen, Cliff, you got to listen to me.
You're going to let me talk?
No, but I just got to reiterate one thing, and I'll let you talk. No. That's the reason why people are putting two and two together and suggesting.
I know what people are doing, but they're inaccurate in what their understanding is. And your show right now with what you're doing, as far as explaining it in the way that you are, is not helpful.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying what public sentiment is feeling about this.
It'd probably be better if I came in and talked to.
No. Go ahead. You have the microphone. You have the floor.
All right. Fair enough. What I'm saying is this. What the understanding was by the public was that the $3.4 million, according to Smith, when he was on the radio for 11 weeks over there, was too much. We paid too much, okay?
Right.
Well, that's an opinion, and you can argue how much money that should have been paid for that course. What wasn't accurate was all the suggestions that there was some kind of bribe, some kind of pay that was, and I heard this said that, what are you going to do with this amount of money that you got from whoever? No money like that ever got changed hands between any of us. That wasn't my interest. And unfortunately, they used misinformation in order to win an election. That's what they did. That was what it was about. And they could have cared less about the price of the golf course, those people. They made everybody else believe that it was too high. Now, I've done a lot of estimates on it. The fact of the matter is that there was a lot of talk about the appraisal. We should have had an appraisal. All right. If you look at what was involved in the elements too, and I went through this one time when I was on your show with you, there were like 11 different elements that were to be considered.
Right.
The guy that came in and appraised it and said, 1.7, he didn't include a number of things. It wasn't accurate, but it was portrayed as though we were paying too much. Now, you can argue over whether or not we pay too much, but you cannot argue over whether it was done correctly and honestly, because it was. But what you can argue over the price, but not over how it was done. What they wanted to do is twist this story into something that it was never. It wasn't dishonest. There wasn't any payout. There wasn't any, bribing that was going on. But see, the only way that Smith could win an election for Sarah Compo Pierce is to make it out to be something that it wasn't, to drive some doubt into the public's mind, to make them think that we were corrupt. And he did a really good job of doing that. He has divided this community in ways that we could probably never fix, Glenn. And unfortunately, this has all come down to, he would not let it go. I don't know that he called for that investigation that we now see, but my feeling says for him, like an arsonist that returns to the scene of the fire, he was there at the council meeting the other night, sitting center stage. The only thing that was missing was the popcorn in his lap, okay? And that was a problem. And yeah, so I was surprised by what happened.
No, I don't blame you for being surprised, and I got to give you kudos where credit is due to you. You kept your composure because when a city council meeting is delayed by an hour and police from the state are present and this rumor goes all around town like wildfire, like it did last night, and all of a sudden people started tuning in more frequently than ever before. And of course, the chatter today at the water cooler was Cliff only. But I got to ask you this: with all of this, does that mean that the state police have been climbing up a tree for almost a year and a half now for the wrong reasons?
Well, my feeling is this: if they were asking for cell phones last night after 20 months, it looks to me to be more like at the beginning of an investigation. So I don't know how long this has been going on, but they weren't really forthcoming about coming out and telling the information to any of us. They didn't want the public to know who they were investigating exactly, other than vaguely, what the investigation was about, what the scope of what they were looking for was,
right?
But that they wanted me to be forthcoming with them. I'm all more than willing to come out and talk about this with any one of them.
Well, it sounds like you are, and by the way,
what they did.
You're gracious enough to be on today's show. Plus, you actually addressed the people of the privilege of the floor yesterday. So you continue doing your job, Cliff. You love doing what you do, and I appreciate that. But there's got to be a reason other than what you say is sour grapes and vindictive behavior from your. But it's got to be more than that, Cliff. There's got to be something rushing in your head right now, other than some form of denial. That there's got to be a reason for all of this. No? Am I crazy?
you've got to take a look at this, and I know that you know Jeff quite well, and I've worked with him side by side for the last couple of years. And if you could figure out why he feels so interested in what he is doing right now, what he is pursuing, okay?
Right.
Then you're a smarter man than I am, because I cannot figure it out.
All right. So I
don't know why he would want to do this to the community.
Right.
He thinks he's some kind of, I don't know, an anti-hero. He's out and he's defending the city from, people that are corrupt. The actual deal is projection. And if you know what I mean,
I know what projection means. Yeah.
Okay, he's projecting everything that he has done onto me and other people. Like he's some kind of, he's saving the city. And quite frankly, there were so many opportunities for him to do more to help us with some of the projects that we were looking to build. Right now, we're mired down in this ethics committee, this investigation, and legislatively, Glenn, I can't think of a thing we've done that's productive this year since the new council people took office. Not one thing. Now, last year we had a number of things that we were doing. This year is totally, I'm like bored.
Are you talking about 2025? Because it just started.
Price for water pipe.
Right.
It's like.
Well, all right, Cliff, we're running out of time, but let me ask you, what is legal counsel, your lawyer and/or lawyers, from one investigation to the other? I'm assuming you're using the same guy in your ethics. What has he said when he was delivered the video from last night, which I'm sure he saw with his associates? Your description. What did he say?
What did he say?
Yeah.
Well, he used two letters, BS, and he wanted to know if it was brought. Because of the letter that he had just sent into the city around 4 o'clock, if they called this in and said, this is what we need to do to walk all over that headline.
Okay.
And I'm having some doubts myself as to exactly the intent of what it was that was done.
So what do you, going forward,
the way it was done.
So that means this lawyer is on your side. You've also been in the news for, generating enough funds for thousands of dollars for this guy. Yes, I think at one point or another was there a GoFundMe account for this, Cliff?
There is still, and if anybody wants to donate it to it, now they know I have an attorney, a real attorney.
Right.
His name is Stu Wiseman, was Santoella from Syracuse.
Right.
Very good. They do a lot of corporate stuff. And this guy is actually an ethics professor. He taught at Onondaga Community College for 20 years. He does online courses for lawyers right now.
Right.
He took a look at what it is that I sent him. And Glenn, I got to tell you, the first thing he said was, did they have a lawyer involved in this? I said, they were supposed to. That was Ballard.
Right.
He says, Cliff, he says, they broke the law in so many ways, I can't even tell you. This is ridiculous.
All right, so that said, Cliff, does that fuel your fire from the previous ethics charges and investigation to this one? Do you think that you can rally your supporters by your GoFundMe, and for that matter, by your high-powered attorney there? Do you think all of that will come to a higher level because of all what happened last night?
I hope, and I hope that the residents of the city that have been wronged by the city for one way or one reason or another can actually look at this and say, here's a guy that's willing to take it to the mat. And I am willing to take it to the mat. I came into office. I was not planning on buying property. What I saw over the course of time, we changed the parking up there. Mike Lundy didn't like that. The zoning was talking about changing the zoning. I was in favor of that, but I think he saw enough to where it became an opportunity to buy that land up there from Mike, and I'm glad we did it. I think it was the right thing to do for the future.
Well, that was my last question. Let me just say.
Okay. The price of the
right. Well, the price was a big thing.
Happened.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
The last thing I just want to say is that you came out when you first took over as a councilman there. And you had a lot of plans, because I know you. I helped you with your campaign. I did your TV ad and so on.
You helped me with the video. It was an excellent video.
Right, and I think
by the river and what I wanted to do.
Right, and that was good. Do you think that, just like I said this about Pat Hickey and his involvement with what we call Golfgate and this 3 against 2 thing, which ultimately cost Pat Hickey, he was only there for 2 years. He was a special, obviously he was filling out for Jesse Roche and so forth. So that said, do you think that minus the whole golf incident that your career as a politician in Watertown would be a lot better off, Cliff?
No, I don't think so, because actually what happened was, what we talked about in the campaign and when you did the videos, all right? The river, the development.
Right, you never got to that stuff.
Right. We couldn't because Mayor Smith, Jeff Smith, walked all over the agenda that we could have had because he just didn't want to be a part of it. And that's the unfortunate part. The most hurtful thing of what his time in office was is that we didn't get as much done as we could have because of him. And because of his obstruction and everything,
my
he was against it.
my vantage point.
I'm going to tell you something. On Stewart's and Washington Street, I think is a great location. He fought us on that.
Well, I think he would realize that he made a mistake on that. He gets his coffee there all the time.
Maybe he was, maybe Millie.
But real quick, Nick, listen to me, Cliff. What I'm trying to say is that subtract the whole golf thing, and your outlook on re-election is much better, in my opinion, Cliff. Please don't say otherwise. You're going to say otherwise, and you shouldn't, because this has destroyed you and Matt Hickey.
Based on what they perceive, and I want them to have all the facts so that they can decide that. And that's where it should be decided, not by a Star Chamber ethics board and also the people on council who are already biased against me in the way that they are.
Cliff, I just want to thank
the voters to decide.
Okay, Cliff, I just want to thank you. You were gracious enough, as always. You and I have been friends over the years, and I know this is a little bit of turmoil, but you're handling it well, just for the record. And I definitely want to have you back on the show, and hopefully we'll have our technical and communication better next time. But you were great today. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, really, I do.
And I'll talk to you soon.
All right, very good.
Thank you very much. That's listen to me. I'm all over the place. I apologize. I'm looking around trying to figure out what the hell that other problem was all about. I get easily distracted, needless to say, but I think we accomplished something today. Absolutely nothing. That said, thank you very much, Councilman Cliff Olney. And